Keys to Fearlessness. Chapter 9. The 50th Law. Most people can't sit still. They can't stand boredom. And because of that, they can't get good at anything long enough to make it count. They chase excitement, fast results, constant stimulation, and they wonder why their life feels chaotic and unfulfilling. But the fearless understand the deeper truth. Boredom is part of mastery. As children, we all go through the same process of learning. Whether it's language, riding a bike, or understanding math, the first stage always feels frustrating. You don't have the words, you don't know the rules, you feel stuck, but something keeps us going. Curiosity, desire, the need to express ourselves. Eventually you hit that flow. You stop thinking about the rules and things just start to click. That process is universal. Whether it's sports, art, law, or business, progress starts ugly, repetitive, even painful. But the people who stick with it, they gain access to levels of skill and insight the quitters never see. For thousands of years, this was the path to power, craftsmanship. You studied under masters, did your time, and earned your skill. Then came books, school, degrees. But at the core, the principle never changed. Progress takes time. Today, we live in an instant results world. Everything is at our fingertips. We can click, swipe, and skim through ideas, products, trends. We value speed over depth. We want power, but not the process. That's where fearlessness must be rebuilt. In a culture that sells shortcuts and distractions, the truly powerful are those who double down on patience and process. They don't fear repetition. They fear being average. They don't get bored, they get better. Progress through trial and error. Jack Johnson wasn't born the greatest fighter. He had to become one. And to do that, he put himself through a painful process. Countless fights, brutal sparring, and deliberate exposure to every style of opponent. While others rushed to knock someone out, Jack studied. He watched. He learned how people moved, how they reacted, how they broke under pressure. The result? Mastery. You don't learn through theory. You learn through getting punched in the face, metaphorically or literally, and adjusting. That feedback loop is what turns amateurs into masters. Master something simple. Most people never master anything, so they live with an invisible insecurity. They talk a big game, but deep down they doubt themselves. You build real confidence by mastering something basic. That's what Demosthenes did. The man had a speech problem, but he turned it into fuel. He locked himself away and practiced speaking with pebbles in his mouth, studied his own expressions in the mirror, and trained his breath control on hillsides. The result? One of the greatest public speakers in history. Master something simple. Prove to yourself what's possible. Then build from there. Internalize the rules of the game. Thurgood Marshall could have played it safe. He had a shot at Harvard. Instead, he went straight into the trenches. Real cases, real courts, real stakes. And when he lost, he didn't make excuses. He studied the game, the judges, the process. He learned what mattered: procedure, presentation, and poise. By mastering the system from the inside, he was able to dismantle it from the outside. That's how you get real results. When you enter any space, legal, creative, corporate, there's a system. There are rules. Don't try to break them until you've mastered them. Once you know how it works, then you can maneuver with purpose. Attune yourself to the details. Michelangelo didn't start out a genius. He studied every detail: bones, fabrics, movement. He dissected corpses to understand structure. He recreated texture, light and space. He didn't begin with big ideas. He started with materials, observations, and form. Mastery came from obsession with the small things. Whatever you're building, don't get lost in grand visions. Start with reality. Study your environment, your tools, your audience. Build from the details upward. That's how lasting work is done. Rediscover your natural persistence. We live in a world of distraction. Social media, news cycles, notifications. Everyone's attention is split. That's why nothing gets finished. To accomplish anything real, you need persistence. You can't multitask your way to greatness. Break your goal into steps and then attack each step like it's all that matters. Small wins create momentum. You had this focus as a child. You'd practice the same thing over and over until you got it. You didn't quit because you were bad. You kept going until you weren't. It's not about talent. It's about stamina. The fearless don't quit. They stay, they endure, they finish. Final thought. The enemy isn't failure. It's fragmentation. The habit of jumping from one thing to the next without mastering anything. The lie that power comes quick. That success is flashy. That effort is uncool. Respect the process. Embrace the grind. Master your craft. And eventually, you'll master yourself. That's the real path to fearlessness.